Hello and welcome to an inaugural edition of South Detroit. I'll explain more later, but I'm at a meeting right now on the Gordie Howe Bridge, and I'm in the city of Windsor. Here, look at Zug Island. That is so cool. And they dredged that out, this channel, and that became part of Grassy Island. But here's the bridge. So it was a bridge update on this particular day. That's the Windsor side. And they were talking about the multi-use path, which would be great. A free, toll-free. You can walk across or take your bike across. And it's free. That's the key operative word, free. Free. So if you're in a bike group or you like a walking group, and stuff like that, then this would be great. Take a trip to South Detroit via the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Opening soon, sometime next year. But the meeting, they held it at the Mackenzie House, and I think that's like a straitjacket for prisoners. But they had this is the courthouse, and a couple people that were at the meeting said, hey, can we see what the courthouse looked like? So the guy was kind enough to open the door and turn on the lights, and this was the courthouse from back in the day. Some great woodwork. And then it's got the British heritage kind of thing. So this is what it was like. Yeah, the Queen. They're going to have to put the king up there pretty soon. They do the plaid here, but yeah, Canada, it's a whole different country, which is neat. And it's just going to be right across the river. Just take the Gordie Howe Bridge. You can take a car, too, if you want. That's easy enough also, but it'll cost you. That you'll have to pay for. But right next, here's on this property, no hookah or water pipes, so don't think about taking it. But they have a gazebo out back, a mural, and then next door, this is like a registry house for the jail. Registry office building. And then they have a parking lot here you can use for just 15 minutes. This is funny, wishing you here, because this is actually a jail. And this place is for sale. See up top, Essex County, and then that's how you say jail in British, English, or whatever. Yeah. But this place, it's for sale right now. But it was interesting just from the standpoint like it's an abandoned thing and they don't know what to do with it. So if you Google Windsor Jail in the search bar, it'll come up in a good story from the city of Windsor. It was in their paper, the Windsor Star, and they talked about this jail. This is kind of, I guess, where you would have the visitation kind of thing. It's interesting. So, anyways, Windsor Star in September 21st of 2023, they had an article, and they talked that the province of Ontario apparently offered the city of Windsor this whole jail for $1. And they didn't know if it was a good investment. So they passed on it. So it went up in auction in the year 2019, the auction was in 2019. So it sold to some local investors for $150,000. This is so cool. I'll jump ahead of the game and get back to the story again, but this could be retrofitted as a boutique hotel. Look here, the penthouse, and this is where Fletcher stayed. And the jail cells are small, so you probably wouldn't have enough for a family of 4 or nothing like that. But you can slam the doors. Though that would. Good night. It probably wouldn't be for everyone, but just let your mind wander a little bit. Just think if you were bad and you had to go to jail. But this would be not like a for real jail. It'd be a boutique hotel, kind of like Monopoly game, go to jail at one board, do not pass go and collect 100 or 200. You go directly to jail. But yeah, it sold at auction $150,000, which seems cheap, and that's 2019. So that was 5 years ago, right? Almost 5 years ago, and they haven't done anything. And they thought about a purpose, and one of them, they thought of converting the jail into student residences, which would be kind of cute and all that. But a student residence for 1 month, 1,500. 2,000 Canadian, whatever, where you could make that in one night with a boutique hotel. Not totally, but a fancy room you certainly can. Like for this one, the solitary confinement. This might spook people out. I'm not sure I'd like to be in solitary, or maybe if you're a girlfriend, husband, wife, they're newlyweds or something like that, you put them in solitary. But yeah, just let your mind wander. You could have a lot of fun. I know there's people out there that have an evil twin like I do. And then you start coming up with things and you say, oh, you can get pretty wild with this. There was a calendar, 2012, but it says in the article that the jail officially closed in 2014. So it's only 10 years now that it's been vacant. I'm not sure if this was the TV room, but can you imagine a hotel and you can kind of dress up for it? You have your white and black stripes, your designated prison uniform, and there would be maybe prison guards, and they would have the bells and whistles and sound the alarms, and you could have, escapes. Oh, it's just crazy. This is a view from the rooftop here. Sandwich is a city now incorporated into the city of Windsor, but it was its own separate town, and it was like the oldest part of Windsor. And but they got signs here. Oh, I get excited about a hotel. Just think, there's so many of these cookie cutter type places. You look at a place like this would be totally unique, and some people would really fall into character with this kind of stuff. They would really, prepare for it. This is the yard, like outside, which is like the play area or whatnot. But they have this wall with the curvature thing. And then these were into the rooms with the grating. And then this, like the guard shack. Pretty Spartan kind of thing. But yeah, wave high. Oh, I know people have a good imagination. That's what movies and thrillers are all about. Just let your mind wander and think what you would do with a place like this. Then walk around, and then Mother Nature taking over because these trees. I think it's the crab walk. The guy that you can go horizontal, a guy escaped from jail doing that horizontal thing, but if you're really tall, maybe you could do it. But then look at some of the trees out here. In 10 years' time or whatever, these trees have sprouted. And you could really, if you got thrown in this jail, I think you could escape. I'm thinking I could climb this tree easy enough and I'd be out. But yeah, how much fun. I know it's scary because it's jail and you're not supposed to go to jail and that kind of stuff. That's for like bad people. But, maybe people can learn a lesson and see what it's like in jail. And just for one night. So you play along and you think to yourself, I don't want to spend a lot of time in jail. But, you put the fear of jail or the fear of God in the the kids and the younger generation. There's a cemetery across the way. This is smack dab in a neighborhood. Here's the sign right here. This is perfect. Buy, sell, invest. Team Aces. So there's 3 people involved here, and they each have their own phone number. So take your pick there, and they can give you the lowdown. They've had a lot of curiosity about the place, and now the city of Windsor is considering buying it. And if they don't buy it, I could say some whippersnappers from Toronto that know the hotel business and want to expand, because Windsor's going to be happening. This bridge is going to be a huge boon to the area. It's going to be great for tourism. We got to promote it and let people know what's going on with everything, but that multi-use path is going to be great. That's going to open it up for a lot of people that are into biking and doing that and taking that 1 week long trip or however long they take. They'll have fun with that, but then a lot of people will like to get some exercise and walk across, or just have a day trip in Windsor, have dinner, and then head for home. And the Barrel House, there's a bunch of places. This is kind of, you can wet your whistle and get some food at the same time in the city of Sandwich. They have a few watering holes and restaurants. This is the corner of Mill Street in Sandwich, aptly named, but that's their like main street. And then down yonder is a windmill. You got a pineapple fountain. Oh, first on this side, this is the official offices for the Gordie Howe International Bridge from the Windsor perspective. And they have office hours on Tuesday and Thursdays. And I think it's like from 10 to 2 or 10 to 4. But like Facebook, well, they have all the social media. So I think Facebook is Gordie Howe Bridge. Look at this. This is a post office, now built in 1905, and now it's part of it's a boutique hotel. So they can do it with the post office. They can do it with the jail. Yeah. You know, it's kind of like the Renaissance type people or the theater bazaar type people. You might have to have those kind of people to get it started, but I don't think you have to think too far outside of the box to think that would be a fun hotel to stay at, because it's authentic. It was a jail, and it's built like a brick shit house, right? But, you know, they're going to have to change the plumbing. The rooms, you might combine 4 to 8 of the cells or something, or you have a whole wing that you make like an Airbnb, and then you have family reunions there, and you have the whole wing. And I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, but boy. And probably there's one of the a jail that's already been retrofitted somewhere else in the world. So you could Wikipedia that or Google. I haven't Googled that yet, but this is a perfect size, though. It's not huge or anything like that, and it's quaint, and Sandwich is kind of the southern part of Windsor. And then we'll get into the South Detroit aspect here pretty soon, too. But here's looking across, and it's getting close to sunset time. And this is looking westbound here, but yeah, so here's the Gordie Howe Bridge, and this is an update from Thursday, March 21st. So that's the U.S. side, and then the Canadian side on the left. But they kind of have like a little park over here, and I just missed it, though. It just cleared the building, but we get the oranges and all that. It was a nice day. But there's a lot of fascination with the skyline and all that. So this was just after 7:30, and there was a photographer, and he says he's been out here several times. He likes this perspective because you get out over the water a little bit more. There's Zug Island. You can see the flamethrower action. Really neat. But the fan, this is going to be architecturally gorgeous. It'll be it changes our skyline. And boy, I think tourism we're going to have a nice boost. Because currently, The Ambassador Bridge, you can't walk across. So this one, they're taking all the precautions and all that kind of good stuff, and they're getting public input, which is great. So they're reaching out to the community and having people fill out surveys. I'm sure they're fine if you give them a call. There's a toll-free number. See, in Sandwich, you can get... here at Rock Bottom, this was interesting because who hasn't hit Rock Bottom? Well, I have, but then I hit the bar here. Well, I got to stop and get a battery pack first because I was running out of battery juice. But there's a church right across from the jail, and it's historic. So there's a lot of history down through here. St. John's, and the door hinges are really cool, too. And 1852/1871. There's like Zug Island. I think that flamethrower's on there, unless it's Marathon Petroleum. But I'm going to move the car closer. But I took a little peek around here. There's like a salvage yard. And then I got some Smarties. These are like M&Ms, but they have a harder coating on the outside. Very good. All right, so I went to Rock Bottom, and I decided, well, I'll get a meal here. Now, the prices might be a little higher than in the U.S., but your dollar's worth, if you go to the bank or credit union, you should get 30% more. But if you just bring your U.S. dollars here, they'll just exchange it dollar for dollar. It's better to go to the bank and get your 30%. It's really up around 35%, so a U.S. dollar is really worth $1.35 in Canadian. So it would behoove you not to go to the credit union or bank and exchange your money. You pay a small fee for that, but it's better than just getting everything even Steven. Know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Just saying. But this was cool. The Red Wings were on. So while I was watching the game, this is Sandwich Street just out on the front porch, right in front of this restaurant. So as part of the project, they're going to new street and sidewalks, okay, bicycle and multi-purpose lanes, new stormwater, all this good stuff. So they talked about this at the meeting. It's all good stuff, border crossing. So I got myself a, I think it was basic, boring burger, but it's a half-pound burger, and it was really good. I got lettuce, tomato, and onion also. So the Wings were having a field day. There's the maple leaf. I don't know what they did with that maple leaf. I don't know. They welcome diversity or something like that. The clock here in the downtown area isn't on time correctly. They have the old school street lights and Rock Bottom. Now, the owner of this place, now I don't get too excited here, but the owner of that Rock Bottom, her name is Nicole Sakala, if I'm pronouncing that right, Sakala. She knows about the jail. She was featured in that article back in September of last year. The Windsor Star had that big article, and she was talking about they wanted to figure out something good because they know the historic significance of it at all. So I want to see what the latest is on this thing. But go ahead and Google, and there'll be information on that. Here, South Detroit, it's an album. So when did this album come out?
The album was recorded last year on January 4th. It came out in June.
And recorded right here at the Phog.
Yes. And came out in June, and 6 months later is now nominated for a Juno Award, which is the highest musical honor.
Oh, that guy's name is Bot. It's a nickname, but I'm not exactly sure how to spell it, but I would pronounce it, I think, B-O-T, Bot. But he was telling me all about the bar, which was really cool. But the band called South Detroit performed here at the Phog Lounge and they recorded an album, so that is cool. And Windsor's trying to, in a sense, like we all know Windsor, and Windsor's a great city name, but it's like wink wink or put that AKA period thing and just say South Detroit, because Windsor is south of Detroit, and then it's been immortalized in the Journey song when they sang about South Detroit, and Windsor has some history about that. Let me read the Wikipedia real quick. I like the artwork here. The Wikipedia thing is a city in southwestern Ontario, Canada, on the south bank of the Detroit River, directly across from Detroit, Michigan, United States. It is the southernmost city in Canada and marks the southwestern end of the Quebec City-Windsor corridor. Yeah, it's also known as the Rose City. The city's population was 229,660 at the 2021 census. So basically about 230,000. It's the busiest commercial crossing on the Canada-United States border. Windsor is a major contributor to Canada's automotive industry and is culturally diverse. How about that? And then known as the automotive capital of Canada. I like to refer to as the Detroit area as the motor capital of the world. But yeah, Windsor, definitely the automotive capital of Canada. But the end is the beginning of the conversation, something like that. But yeah, they have murals too, which is great. The artist community is alive and well in Windsor, no doubt about it. My evil twin was loving it, even though he's just standing there. But yeah, they had a little tornado thing here, so you're not in Kansas, you're in Windsor. You're in a whole different country out here. This is Canada. The fabulous Windsor. But, yeah, anyways, oh, geez, I wanted to mention that jail. They want $1.4 million now for it. That's what they're asking for, $1.4 million. But we'd have to have somebody help out and crunch the numbers a little bit and try to figure it out. But tourism, well, Windsor's kind of like the safe part of the Detroit area. They don't have much crime or violent crime in through here at all. Plus, they have the hottest girls, bar none. I kid you not. I wouldn't lie to you about that. Plus, if you're into this kind of thing, and we know you are, but if you wanted to smoke one or whatever, and I'm not sure what kind of ID you have to show, but it looks like you could support that vice here too. Plus, they have the casinos. They even got scooters. They got a beautiful riverfront. And I think this Guinness Book of World Records in Canada or something, I thought I heard, but I could be wrong. Don't hold me to it, but it's supposed to be the largest flagpole in Canada. And the flag was at half-mast today, and it wasn't very windy. But if you ever see or watch a Red Wing game, and I think they do it every game, actually, not just when they have Canadian opponents, but they'll sing both national anthems. And certainly, Oh Canada, if you let it get to you, sometimes if you got a good singer, that'll send chills up your spine. And yeah, this is just south of Detroit. You get a nice view, certainly. It's spectacular. So if you're a little wary of Detroit and, the crime and all that kind of stuff, all those things you've heard about Detroit, well, South Detroit is a safe bet for you. And they have a nice riverfront here, and the moon was close to being full, and the casino was just down yonder. So there's like a bear, I guess, a moose, or two deer maybe, Windsor is the oldest known site of continuous settlement. Okay. Well, you got to speed read. I couldn't get it all in one frame. So when you have more time, these are the things you kind of do on your leisure. You don't want to overwhelm people with facts and figures too much because who needs all that? You just want to go and have a good time, have some fun. You can have good dining experiences in Windsor. There's a lot of diversity in food. And I know a lot of times we're told not to be diverse, but when it comes to food, admit it, people like diversity in food. There's all sorts of different nationalities that I like their food. Mexican, Italian come to mind. Thai food comes to mind too. This place, I don't know if it's open. But yeah, here's the banner, South Detroit. This is what it hit me, and it's like, you're kidding. That's a great nickname, or yeah, let's go with that. Sure, why not? I mean, Windsor for sure. You can't, but wink, wink to people, and you got to watch with trepidation, look around the corners here through the alley. No, just for shits and giggles kind of thing, yeah, it's South Detroit. And you can have a lot of fun in the city of Windsor. They have a good bar scene. And I don't know if this place is still open. This was Alley Cats, but it looks fenced in. But there are places where you can see the prettiest girls. Look at this building too. 1900. So they did this even Steven kind of thing. But yeah, look at that. Not that everyone's into architecture. There's little niche markets for everything, but I like when a building's built like a brick shit house, you know? That's solid, and it yeah, here Taco Bell, look at, they're even getting into the artwork. So that's pretty good. And tacos, and they have a bunch of different alleys, and this, some people swear by it, but a poutineery, they say it's cheese curds. You know, I'll dip my French fries in barbecue sauce or, you know, ketchup at times, but not cheese curds kind of thing. Here, the Capitol Theater's right near the Phog Lounge, but the Capitol Theater, I guess, isn't in operation anymore. It's just used for special events. Here, their lottery doesn't get close to $1 billion, but yeah. But I'm looking at some of the housing stock. Windsor's a fun, walkable, easy city to get around. Now I'm heading back to the Phog Lounge because they said 11:15 they're going to perform. It'll be the house band. But let me see if I had some other facts and figures. They got some murals on the outside. Oh, Windsor almost was named South Detroit in 1892. Back then, they had a thing for the naming of the city, and a couple of the names that one was South Detroit, the other one was the Ferry, another one was Windsor, and another was Richmond. And they ended up with Windsor to promote like the English settlers that came in, and then Windsor Castle. So yeah, with the English thing, yeah, their money still. I was asking when the king was going to start showing up on their money because the queen passed away. What was it, last year? That's the toonie. And they have the disco ball here. This is where young people and what cool bands will perform. All right, let's listen a little bit.
I dance myself right out the wall. into the tomb. I cast myself into the tomb. Is it strange to dance so soon?
All right. So yeah, it's like a fishbowl effect. You can be walking down University Drive, and you can hear the band or watch them and perform. You can hear them pretty good too. They're not insulated windows, so this is great. Just to watch them. But when I say South Detroit, a lot of people are going to think the Journey song, Don't Stop Believing, because when he sings the song, early in the song, he says, born and raised in South Detroit, or a city boy born and raised in South Detroit. And it begs the question, a lot of times people were asking, well, where's South Detroit? Well, yeah, way back in the day, Windsor considered themselves South Detroit, but Journey, they talked to the Mike Perry, the lead singer, and he said he saw a construction sign when they were in town for a concert they had at Cobo Arena. So the concert was in 81 or 82, something like that, and they saw a sign that, you know, probably I-75, and it had South, you know, Detroit or whatever. And so he phonetically thought that sounded great. But we can wink kind of say South Detroit is Windsor. But, man, we could have a lot of fun promoting. You know, as far as international cities, this is a huge bonus. What other major U.S. city can say they border an international city as cool as Windsor? I mean, you have Niagara Falls. I'll grant you that. That's pretty cool. You got a U.S. side and a Canadian side. On the West Coast, you have Seattle, Vancouver, but you got to drive between the two of those places. But look, Detroit, Windsor, you could walk across the bridge or ride a bike. Yeah, I'm right by the speaker, so note to self, bring my earplugs. I'm not a young pup anymore. Look, if you don't want to counterfeit money or have counterfeit money, you put those kind of bans like they have for Canadian money. It can be done. We're just stubborn. But yeah, bring your earplugs if you're going to sit where I'm at. I get a good vantage point, but it's loud right here, so I'm going to have to. I'm not a young whippersnapper. Here, smiley faces. Yeah, the place, it's great for the music scene, and Mondays is their open mic night. So that's when the young people, I guess they can do 2 songs or 3 songs, but 15 minutes, I guess, is the max that they'll let you perform. So here, well, this place definitely has my seal of approval. I've been here before, and having the local music scene, live music, is a good to-do for sure. Detroit's got a good music scene, but Windsor will not be denied either. They got it going on. So the owner here, actually, he has an overflow area across the street. God, I forget the name of it offhand. if you don't want to pay the $5 cover charge, you can hear them just as well from the sidewalk, and you can dance out there too, which is great, and probably smoke a cigarette. DET.com, that's the website. I redid this video because I had a bad camcorder that was acting up. So now the video quality is much better. So now I have to head back, and it's only $6.75 Canadian, but bring your debit or credit card. You can't pay cash. So be aware of that. But entering the tunnel here now, and we'll have tunnel vision for a little bit. But the bridge, the Ambassador Bridge, was $11 Canadian. So the tunnel certainly is cheaper. Plus, you don't have to worry about the trucks or anything like that. They're not around because they can't fit in tunnels like this. All right, made it back to Pure, Michigan, taking the detour. But yeah, here's the spirit of Detroit. So yeah, people are adventurous, and people are in South Detroit. Yeah, they'll come and visit Detroit. They'll say, yeah, I'll take the plunge. This building, 1953. I wanted to get a copy of the Metro Times. This comes out on Wednesdays. But that tells you all the cool stuff happening in Detroit. And the NFL draft, they'll talk about this for the next month. You'll hear a lot of stories. But yeah, it'll be time for Detroit to drink from the cup. All right, we got good time here. And yeah, it'll be Detroit, if anything. They know how to party.